Agenda, please join me in the pledge to the flag.
Corner.
I'll find it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome. Hold on a second. I have to remove that podium, or that's going to be in our way, and I don't know why. All right. So, next up we have comments from our audience regarding agenda items.
Was redecorating part of the agenda?
Yes, it's just you missed it. Undecorating me? Okay, next we have comments from the audience, not the board, regarding agenda items. If anyone would like to address the board, please come forward, state your name and address for the record, and limit your comments to 5 minutes now that I can see you. Oh, sorry. Would anyone like to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move right to our consent agenda. Tonight we will be approving A, approval of May vouchers and vouchers payable, B, approval of April 25th and May 9th, 2016 school board meeting minutes, C, approval of early grad requests, D, approval of staff resignations, and E, approval of bus contract. These have been discussed previously and would be adopted with one motion, but first, would anyone care to pull any of these items out?
D.
D, okay. Anyone else? Seeing none, then I would entertain a motion to approve A, B, C, and E.
Motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further, no discussion, sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Item D. Quinn.
Well, I don't know, we can name names here?
We don't typically do it because some of them,
Right.
Okay, well, I do know two of the three that are retired, that are resigning, and it's gonna be a loss to the district. They've been very good to our children, and I'm sure the third person as well. I just don't know her, but I do know two of them, and they will be sorely missed, and I thank them for their service to this district, all three of them. That's it.
All right. Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve item D, approval of staff resignations.
So moved.
Moved and seconded.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Next up, new business. Discuss and take possible action on the sale of district technology equipment. You've got a memo in your packet with outlines everything. Eric, did you have anything else that you would like to talk to us?
Not really. It's been vetted through the finance committee. Are there any questions? Approximate quantities and dollar amounts are on there. It's the best estimates I can give you at this time.
And just a brief reminder, this is going to be a very routine annual thing about this time of year. So.
Right.
Thank you, Eric.
I did have a question.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can't find it. I thought there were two lines and both said iPad minis, but there were two different prices.
There are.
iPad
Did that
and
not
iPad
get
mini.
copied into yours?
I think it's iPad and iPad Mini and iPad Mini 2s.
Yes.
They're there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and those are two different models.
Okay. So there's no regular iPads?
Those are, there's going to be a few iPad 2s, which are our oldest ones in the district. Just a couple that are left. I think 4 that I know of right now.
So the iPad 2s are the bigger one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That was just my question.
Those are going on 5 years old right now, so.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, then this will come back in our consent agenda at the next meeting, correct?
Well, can
Or do you need us to
We
do
were
it
hoping for
tonight?
approval on this
Oh,
one.
sure, we can do
Approve it
that.
tonight.
Okay. I
So
would
set a motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Seeing none, motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. All right. Next up, 2016-17 preliminary budget. Stephanie and Doug. So,
Okay.
well, in
we'll
our
back and
packet,
forth.
we got the preliminary numbers. Go
As
ahead.
part of the finance committee, which was a joint committee, we took a look at the preliminary numbers. There's a lot of things we don't know yet because we don't have the aid calculation, the final numbers, right?
Right.
So far, we're
We're,
Pretty good
we're
shape.
doing well. Another big item that will come into play is when board makes a decision about salaries for next year. Then we'll be able to plug that into the budget and keep moving ahead.
and then
And
we'll
we're
have-
shooting for a mid-June final, not final, I guess final preliminary budget.
and we're going to have one more discussion at committee.
Right.
Because it doesn't really get adopted until September, correct?
True,
Sorry, I didn't get
the way they, at some point in time, you have to approve a budget to go to the annual meeting.
Right. And then we'll know what the mill rate and what that's gonna,
Right. We should have all that information by the
At that
time of
time.
the annual meeting.
so the preliminary budget in June is good, based on
Yep.
what we know. So this does not include the numbers we're talking about at the next item then, or it does?
It does not yet at this point. I
Does not
didn't want
yet,
to be
so then it'll go back
presumptuous.
to finance. Okay. Okay, any other questions? What percent increase was one that, I mean, what is the big picture increase in the
Oh,
budget?
boy.
You don't have a percent?
I don't have that in front
Okay.
of me, but
That's
I'll
no
make a
problem.
note
Just-
to
Yeah,
get
and
it
it'll
out.
change, so,
Well, yes, it will.
but I would love to just know the big picture percent
Sure.
increase we're looking at, both in revenue and expenditures. Other questions? You've all had a chance to kind of hammer this out. Okay. All right, since there's no other questions on the budget, then this will go back through based on the next two conversations. Okay. Next up, we have the teachers' salary increases, 2016-17 teacher salary increase. Okay. Who would like to present that?
I'll start it, and everybody else can jump in.
Okay.
As you know, we had negotiated the increase with the teachers at the 0.12%. And the Personnel Committee felt, as well as probably other board members felt, that we're still not competitive. It's not that we felt it, we know we are still not competitive on the low end of the teacher salaries. And so we're recommending that we increase the new base rate for the 2016-17 year to be 42.5 for new teachers coming into the district with no experience. Which then, of course, we need to raise our current teachers' salaries above that, so that the existing teachers that are currently at the base of 42 would go to 43, so that they would be over the new base of 42.5. And then Jonathan presented a spreadsheet that showed the increases. And we want to give all teachers some kind of an increase, so all the way to the top of the scale, teachers would get a lump sum increase. And do you want to go into, then these are for full-time teachers, so part-time teachers would be prorated. So Jonathan, do you want to?
So, I mean, yeah, anybody that was under 42.5 is bumped up, and then as we brought those tiers up, we did it by $250 levels. So it was 42, we started 42.5 for new teachers, 43 for existing, and then went 43, 250, 43, 500, 43, 750 on up. And then, so everybody in that bracket is bumped up to the new level. Everybody else outside of that bracket will get a flat amount of $300 for the year, and that includes a 0.12%. So they'll get the 300 across the board, and then as you said, for part-time, it'll be prorated based on the.
And we kind of looked at a pot of money, talking with the finance committee people, we kind of looked at a pot of money for all staff of 2%, kind of what would be a 2%. And then the money, if there's money left over from the teacher's part, we wanted to put it aside for the teacher compensation.
Committee?
Yeah, well, not their committee, but to be used for increases for whatever the new compensation plan is that we hope to have approved yet this year.
And I mean, building off of that, we knew that it's going to be difficult. Well, it could be difficult in the next year or two to implement that with the budget constraints. So having a seed pocket to start with it, we thought it'd be approximately 20 to 30,000. Having that in there would help work towards it, so we have something to build off of.
Me? Well, first of all, as I told Jonathan, I think you guys did a lot of work, and I think you did a lot of good work. And I think this board understands that the bottom has to be brought up and is continually doing that. I think that's good. And I like that we're giving everybody a sizable raise. But I think we need to go a little farther, and I think we need to use the entire 2% on raises, because this is cost of living. And I think that we should use that remaining money to go to the people that are above the 45,000 mark that we stopped there, that was caught up, that these people should get that amount. Because, again, it's cost of living. I think we should use the whole 2% on this. The compensation plan is a different issue. While I wouldn't be sad if this was the plan that went by. I think that, again, it's cost of living. I think last year and this year, some of our upper level people have gotten less because of us raising the bottom up. So I think that the whole 2% should be used for this, on this raise here. That's my opinion.
Other comments?
Stumped.
No, I mean, I think we talked about it last week.
Yep, I brought it up at the meeting.
We could do that, but then we may run into a situation where implementing the compensation package next year isn't as feasible. So it's kind of, do we prepare now for next year for that? Or do we use it now and then come next year say, oh yeah, you've done a great job on the plan, we don't have the money to do it. Sorry, we can't
When
do
you say
it.
next year, you mean the 2016-17 school year?
Well, the
When you say
payouts-
next year, the one that starts this fall and goes through?
No, the payouts would start 2017, 2018.
Oh, so a year from this
Well, do
fall.
we have something going into 2016, 2017 yet?
That's what I'm asking. No.
We don't have anything to
Compensation committee
base it
hasn't
off
done
of,
it.
yeah.
But if you save this amount of money, you're saying it could go toward that this year?
No, the next budget cycle.
Oh, okay.
But
But it's leftover money out of this budget cycle.
Yes.
But that's part of the plan, is that we take a more disciplined approach to some of the money that we have.
There would be a separate line item for that, that would be earmarked just for the compensation plan.
Okay.
again, that 20, 30,000 we're talking is not going to break or make the compensation plan, in my opinion. Again, it's a good option, there's no doubt, it's going in the right direction. I just think that cost of living, we need to not guarantee, but to give it to them as cost of living, and the compensation, the incentive compensation is a different program. Some of those teachers may not realize that in the compensation plan, but here, for cost of living, they will get it, and I think that's where it's needed.
Lowell, did you want to comment?
We just need to make sure for your plan that you stay in touch with Gary, because the consumer price index is 0.12%. You can change your salary schedule to raise the bottom up, but you can't say 2% across the board, because you can only say the 0.12, which is why we were able to negotiate that
Yeah.
rather easily. I mean, it's a low amount. So just be cautious, make sure you keep in contact with Gary, because
Doug, I'm sorry, no,
Yeah.
had you contacted Gary?
Yes, I did last week. He prepared a draft of the resolution that would need to be adopted after the board votes on whatever they're going to pay. So, and he said what we're doing is perfectly legal. We've done it in past years. Most of their clients do it, but we just need to word it very carefully so that it doesn't get us in any hot water.
So I have a question. Go ahead. My question is, in looking at these numbers, and some levels got a lot more than the $300. So is that was to bring them up though, right? To keep them ahead of the starting teachers?
Yes.
Is it flattening the whole thing as you did that? You know, in other words, these teachers here have now gotten this big raise, and these people only got a little, so is it
No.
flattening the whole?
It's keeping people
Salary
spaced
schedule?
out according to how long they've been here and
Yeah.
what they're making. So if you were, just as an example, making 44,000 now, and the person below you was making 43.5, now makes 44.5,
Right.
you're getting raised up so that you're spaced out between them and the person above you.
If you have
Okay,
that, it
yeah, I
actually
do.
breaks it all down.
Yeah, I saw that. I
Level
just
by
wondered
level.
if the overall leveling happens, though, as it does that.
Well, here's the new salary, so it kind of shows
Right.
as you go through.
I know what we need to do, and our teachers support figuring this out. 'Cause as I sat in on the compensation meeting, they really are concerned that we stay competitive to other districts. They're concerned about fairness, that we compensate fairly across the level. So I guess I agree with Quinn. I do have a concern about the number of people that don't get the money. If we have it for this year and we're saving it for next year, I'm wondering why we
Don't
couldn't.
give what money?
The 27,000 or whatever, the cushion money that you might want to save for the compensation committee.
We can, I mean.
Possibly we could
can
put that
increase
in
that,
here
Because
and
we
then
originally
increase
started with
that.
an amount of $200, we bumped it up to 300.
You could possibly distribute that 20, at least we've given them everything that we could.
But at the same
This
time,
year.
we're trying,
This year.
we're trying to prepare for the future. The reason we've had to bring up the salary the past two, this year and the past year is because there was no planning ahead for it. We're trying to do something for this compensation committee so that they have this buffer to work with when it comes to it, instead of, oh, well, I know we don't know if it's gonna make or break. You said you don't think it will, but I'd rather have that cushion there of preparation than have nothing.
Right, and this is the year to do it, because we know what the parameters of the governor's budget are going to be, because we're in that last, in that cycle. We don't know what the next budget on the state level is going to bring. So while we're able to build in that cushion now, if we're disciplined about it, this would be the year to be doing it, because we don't know what's going to happen the next budgetary cycle.
It's a balance of fiscal responsibility, planning
Mhm.
ahead, and rewarding. Because instead of doing just the 0.12%,
Mhm.
we're doing above that up to the 300.
Did anyone take a look at what that would add? Is it any significant amount?
At what?
That if you didn't save that money and added it to the top tier, does it even come out to that much?
Yes.
How much does it come out to?
Well, I mean, we'd have an extra $30,000
To distribute between how many people?
Depending on what we ever decided.
Yeah, and let's say we kept with everything and then just took that 27 and distributed, how much more would each one get?
We would have to just do trial and error, keep going until we get closer to the number. And we don't even know what the 2% number is going to be yet. So
Okay.
we have to figure out the 2% number first, and then off of that, we can adjust. So if as a board, we choose to increase that amount, we would just increase it. And again, this is just an initial discussion of it, so we can have these
Right.
conversations offline, get the additional information, and review it next, on the 6th, like we talked about in the Finance and Facilities meeting. And then have it prepared for the board meeting.
Yeah, that would be nice if you could do that, as you take it back. Maybe
Okay.
give us both options and give us time to think about it. Are other people going to take a look at this plan? Is this going to go through the administrative team and any other teachers going to take a look at this?
Well, if they show up at the committee meeting,
Yeah.
At the committee meeting would be a good place for people to give you feedback, okay?
And Joel and Doug have been involved in the process
Right.
too.
Right. Outside of that, it looks like you've done really great work here. And I'm with Quinn, I could go either way, whatever you guys come up with. But I really am sensitive to the long-term teachers as well, and how they might feel about that. Okay, any other discussion about this amount when there's money left over?
But we're gonna vote on it at the next meeting.
Well, that's the plan,
If it's
yeah.
ready.
Okay.
Oh, tell me about the timeline on that. If it does come back at the next meeting, it gets implemented by July 1st? Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then. We will look forward to this coming back at the next meeting. If there's no other discussion. Nice work, everyone. Very good. Okay, next up, we have the non-teacher staff compensation, and I believe there is a recommendation to increase, what's your recommendation?
It's actually based on Lowell's recommendation, Dr. Holtz's recommendation of 2% for all of the other staff, which is why we use the 2% pot of money for the teachers as well.
Okay. Any other discussion on that?
No.
If not, then that will come back for a vote at the next meeting as well. All right, comments from the board regarding items for future consideration?
Yes, can we clean up the items that we have on,
Yep, I've got them.
we need to get them to the agenda.
Yeah, I've got them. And I think we're going to be looking at the policy.
There's 3 items on here. One was supposed to be reviewed by administrative team and got back to us in April or May. We're running out of days here.
Okay. All right, I'll take a look at that again as well. Any other items that you would like on the agenda? Seeing none, then we'll move to board member announcements. Does anyone have announcements? Kevin? Or events? You've been to?
A lot of beautiful dresses
Yeah.
and crazy, one really crazy suit at prom. Beautiful flowers, it was a beautiful day. I don't believe we had any serious trouble.
Well, baseball's obviously going on. I know softball playoffs are starting. We also have a band concert tomorrow night, I think at 7, and then chorus on Thursday at 7 as well for high school.
A lot of
And then there's a lot of middle school, elementary school stuff going on.
2 weeks ago, I went to the middle school, had a carnival and dance, and credit to Lynn and the staff there, they did a phenomenal job. They had kids all over the building, but it was great. I mean, I was there the whole time, and the kids had a blast. The attendance was fantastic. It was the most I've seen for any event like that in the whole time I've been around it, so it was great. That's perfect, yeah. So Lynn and the whole group, they did a great job, but it was a lot of fun. The kids had a blast. So thank you.
Great. Seeing no other items, I did want to mention that you got an email about the community engagement workshop that the Forward Thinking Group has put together. That looks good. It's for all board members, all village board members and city council members and administrators that might want to come. So let Kathy know if you're available for that. June 16th, it's in the evening. It's also great networking with our fellow board members. Greendale and Greenfield are involved in this, so that'll be good. I did want to thank the Booster Club. I was at the event last night where we honor all of our athletes, and we really had an outstanding athletic year. I don't see Jackie here tonight. She's been pretty busy. But it was really an honor to be at that event again and to honor all of our senior athletes. And thanks again to the parents and the Booster Club and all of the coaches and staff that work with these kids. So that's all I have. If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. Okay.